gosh, here we are today for another episode of Inspired Good Fat Life. And what a week this has been. It's been incredibly inspiring. We're back in school and you can feel that crispness of fall in the air. It's still hot summer days, but then all of a sudden, a yellow leaf will just fall out of the sky. And in the morning and evening, it's got that chill. So it feels like I always call it a Mary Poppins day because it's like you just don't know what the day's going to bring. There's that little element of excitement in the air. And today we're going to talk about good to knows, or those things that you wish that someone would have told you but didn't. Now I want to make a distinction. There are good to knows and things that, in retrospect, you wish people had told you about but didn't. But those things that, how do I say this? It's like, it's probably good that you didn't know because you wouldn't have done it. Like some of my friends who've had different surgeries, they're like, if I had known what was coming, I would have never done this. Other things are like good to know. And we're so focused on health and wellness and well-being that anything that can make our lives more efficient, where we can leverage something that we just learned to make our choices easier, that will help us have better health and well-being, those are good to know. So here's one that I just learned this last week. And actually it was from one of my guests on a podcast from Carolyn LaPan, who's a functional nutritionist. So she said that when we wake up in the morning, we should rinse our mouth before drinking anything. So lots of people will get up and drink a glass of water or something, and it's like, no, you want to rinse your mouth and then drink the glass of water because you have all this bacteria building up in your mouth overnight, and then you flush all that down into your heart. And that speaking, there is gum disease is a good to know, is that gum disease is linked with heart disease. And so it's really important to keep your dental health up so that you keep your heart healthy. And flossing fosters longevity, and also like just rinsing your mouth out before you drink anything in the morning. So just a journal, aging research journal, found that people who never flossed increased the risk of their mortality by 30%. 30%. I mean, that's a big deal just to add one little habit of flossing every day. And skipping your annual dentist appointment increased your risk of mortality by 30 to 50% compared to people who saw the dentist 2 or more times a year. So those are little things we can do. So speaking of, you want to start a new habit. So maybe you want to start a new habit of flossing or rinsing your mouth out before you take a drink in the morning. And so here's another little hack on how to start a habit. So a great way to do this is to anchor, and everything I tell you is just based on a ton of research, and it's all, evidence-based, because it's really important to us that we only give you stuff that's really researched and highly documented. So I'm not going to tell you about the latest fad. Okay. So you want to start a new habit. So this is by the guidance of B.J. Fogg, who's an expert in the habit starting process. And a great way to do this is to anchor your new behavior to something that you already do. So if we I want to drink more water. So using his guidance, I now pour a full glass of water and set it by the sink. So every time I walk through the kitchen, I just pick up the glass and take a drink. And then when that's done, I fill the glass up again. And so using this technique has really helped me drink a lot more water. And it's a simple thing to do. Another one is I started doing push-ups before I took a shower. And So you have to be careful a little bit about your habits too. I got up to like 24 push-ups, and I'm not talking about like wimpy girl push-ups, which are fine, but like real guy push-ups. And then it was such a stress that I didn't want to take a shower because I had to do the push-ups first. And so I decided I need to uncouple that and do something different because I really needed to take showers and I didn't want to be that stinky person. So just a little FYI. Another thing to do if you want to know an easy way to tell if a food is a junk food, and this one I use this 10 times a day. So look at the ratio between the number of carbs to fiber that's listed on the label. So if the item has 10 carbs and 1 gram of fiber, then it would be okay to eat. The ratios are in line. But if it had 10 carbs, or we'll say it had 15 carbs and only one gram of fiber, then you would say it's not a good ratio because it's not 1 to 10 to 1. And I use this on everything now, and it's really easy. It's just become kind of a way of life. So I don't eat anything that's out of those ratios. And you would be surprised if you look at like even potato chips. Okay, I get it. I'm full admission, I love really kind of like those rusty kettle chips. And if you look at, I've lined up a bunch of potato chips, and I don't eat them often, but when I do, I want to be sure that it's still not a junk food. And there are potato chips out there that have the fiber to carb ratios in line. So they might have, for every 10 carbs, they have 3 grams of fiber. So those are a great treat to have. It's a really, really good thing to have in your toolkit. Okay, so then the last thing I'm going to say, if you want a quick and easy guide to identify if you are at your optimal weight, because this is really, how do you really know what our optimal weight is? You take your total height in inches and divide it by 2. So take your total height in inches, divide it by 2, and the result will be your optimal waist circumference in inches. Women should have a measurement less than 35 inches, and men should be below 40. For example, I'm 5'4", so half of this would be 32. My optimal waist measurement is 32 inches. My actual waist size is less than 32 inches, which is less than the guide of 35. So it's really easy to figure out. Now, do I still feel like I could lose some pounds? Yes, I do. But does it give me comfort to know that from a medical standpoint, I'm healthy. I'm good. So my weight then becomes more of a preference. I don't want to feel my belly when I go into a yoga pose. So, all right. So that's it for now from Inspired Good Fat Life. And we are going to be adding more good, fun things to know to make it easy, to make our lives easier and make healthy choices and good living your Good Fat Life easier. So we have lots of really cool things going on at Good Fat Life. The magazine, the latest issue of the magazine is going to the printers this week, and it's chock full of wonderful things to know and inspiring things as well. And also, we have a workshop that's coming up in November. We're calling it a little mini retreat. It'll be a Friday and Saturday, and you can go to goodfatlife.com to get more details on our events page. And let's see, it's fall's coming, and so that brings with it a lot of new recipes and fun things to do with all the bounty, the fall bounty that's out there. So check out goodfatlife.com and see what's going on. I want to do a shout out to our sponsor, Snedecor's Cleaners. They are so good at the service that they provide. They make my life so much easier. I literally drop out a bag on my porch Tuesdays and Fridays, and a couple days later, my clothes shows up all cleaned and pressed, and they actually are in a better space than they were before they went to the cleaners, because their process is just so reinforcing for the fibers, which is a really good thing. And also, as part of my self-care, I love knowing that that part of my life is taken care of. I don't have to wonder what I'm going to wear, because if I don't plan very well what I'm going to wear in the morning, and so often it's kind of a rush. And I know that I will have plenty of options that are clean and pressed and ready to go. So thank you to Snedecor's Cleaners.